Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a worth the buy or not foundation review on a very new foundation. I'm so excited about this. So that is the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. So if you guys know, Tarte had a huge thing last year with their Shape Tape Foundation, which was a big fail. Color range was awful. This year, they decided to completely reinvent everything and redo what they were trying to do and do it the right way with so many more shades and also renaming it. I feel like they truly did learn from their mistake, even though I feel like they shouldn't have made that mistake from the beginning because, I mean, we were in 2018 then, and did you not see what Rihanna did? So this year, they got it right, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to be trying this baby. It's supposed to be a full coverage, flawless, natural matte finish, and infinite likes. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but a flawless, natural matte finish sounds very appealing to me. As you guys know, I've been really into more of that skin-like matte finish as opposed to that like matte and flat, like the Sephora foundation. No shade, but that was a little intense for me. So I'm really digging this, and I just can't wait to dive in. So let's just go ahead and start off with our primer. I already went ahead and moisturized with my first A Beauty Ultra Repair face cream, and now we can just move on to the primer. So for primer, I'm going to be using the Cover FX Gripping Primer. This has been my baby as of lately. I've been using this nonstop. During my trip to LA, I packed this and I was like totally obsessing. It does such a good job of really giving you that long wear effect. And just giving you glass-like skin. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but this really does give me that glass-like skin that I feel like we all, appreciate. And I feel like it makes the foundation stay on so well because it's nice and tacky. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Putty Primer to conquer these enlarged pores. So I have this guy, another one of my obsessions, very, very affordable, very comparable to the Tatcha Silk Canvas. And I like to kind of warm it up in the fingertips. And then I like to go ahead and just go to town with it. And really like press it in where I have the enlarged pores. And this just does such a beautiful job of really concealing those pores and giving you this poreless finish. So now we can go ahead and jump into the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. I did pick this up in the color 37N, which is a medium neutral tan, because I am more on my winter shade. I feel like this would suit me better. Usually I like to go for tan sand like during the summertime and the springtime, but right now I was like, I need something a little bit later that's a little too dark. So this is what the packaging looks like. It also was really helpful that I was able to go in store and see it for myself, which I was really surprised that Ulta actually carried it as soon as it launched. Usually what they do is they'll first go on sale online and then they will start selling them at Ulta stores like 3 or 4 weeks later. Okay, so I brought you guys in closer because I always like for you guys to really see what's going on in the skin, and you can see skin looks pretty good. Pretty good, and you guys know my struggles, so you guys know that this is a good moment for me. This is a moment of celebration. So we're gonna go ahead and start on this side right here, and we're gonna be using my sponge, and then on the other side, we'll be using my brush. So let's just go ahead and pop this open. This is what it looks like. It comes with this nice pump. The other foundation came with that big doe foot applicator. I don't mind. I kind of like the doe foot applicator as well. With my Makeup Revolution foundation that I'm obsessed with, I love it because I feel like I don't have to go and dot. I can just dot it straight to the face without getting my fingers dirty. But this is one of my all-time favorite types of packaging with the pump. And I like this gold situation. Very pretty and luxurious. It's definitely like plasticky, but it's very pretty. So I give it to them. So this is what the product looks like. You can see it's running a little bit. It definitely feels very creamy and very, very moisturizing. So let's just go ahead and pop it all over the cheek area. We're gonna start off there, and I'm gonna start blending it. It does have a scent. Ooh, whoa, this looks pretty. This looks very pretty. It blended out like a dream. Do you guys saw how beautifully that blended out? Now I do have to say, it does say that it has like a natural matte finish. I'm seeing a little bit of radiance, to be honest. Like right here, you can see that radiance. But the way that that blended out so fast, that is something that I'm very impressed with. Especially considering like the claims of it, like matte and like full coverage. It blended out so fast, but I do have to say it's definitely full coverage because it covered like a lot of my redness, even though my redness is a little bit to the minimum right now, a lot, because you can see the difference. Foundation, no foundation. I'm taking the rest of my product up here on my forehead. See how good that looks? Like, it looks really good. I'm impressed. And we didn't need that much product. You guys can see the difference too. Like, obviously this side isn't covered at all because you can see all my imperfections, but this side still looks like my own skin and it doesn't feel heavy. Like, I'm able to move my face and it's not settling into my like smile lines and stuff. It just looks very nice and almost becoming one with the skin. Okay, so I think with that much was enough. You guys know that I've really been into the, if you don't need extra, don't apply extra. If you need it because you have like a certain blemish you want to cover or you have a lot of redness going on, then build it up. But I feel like this covered everything I wanted it to cover, so I'm not going to continue going on with more. So I'm going to be taking some product here. I'm going to be going in again with one pump. And we are going to be taking my brush. For brush, I'm going to be using my JH03 brush. It's this nice kabuki brush from Morphe, and I'm going to be just dotting this foundation all over the cheek area. I have to say I'm very impressed with how it applied with the sponge. It didn't absorb any of that product. I feel like it gave it that really good like push into the skin to make it become one with the skin. Like I mentioned, I still feel like I'm seeing some radiance. So for me, who has very oily skin, I wouldn't say this is like a matte right off the bat, but it doesn't claim to be that. It claims to be more of a natural skin-like matte. Flawless natural matte finish. That's what it's claiming to be, and I feel like that's what I'm seeing. Maybe as it sets, we'll see more of that. So let's just go ahead and work on this side and see what happens with the other side. So I'm just going to be kind of pushing the product into the skin. I find that when I do these like padding techniques, it gives me full maximum coverage, and it's better than just dragging it down, you know? So this is usually where I have my intense redness up here. So we're just gonna go ahead and cover that one up real quick. And we're also gonna go in on the nose. Oh my God, that looks so freaking beautiful. The way that this foundation blends, I mean, I can't get over it. Honestly, I really wasn't expecting this to be mind-blowing to me or like to be like really good just by very first impressions. I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be all right, you know what I mean? And I didn't really know much about it besides the fact that last year they effed up, so that's why they're kind of making up for it. Now, I do have to say they have the Tarte Clay foundation, Amazonian Clay, I think it's called, the 12 hours, I want to say. That one's really good. I used to wear that a lot back in the day, like in 2014, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like it was really good for people that had that oily skin. It gave you a nice matte finish, but it wasn't drying or it wasn't super duper thick where you were like, whoa, this is too much. But like I mentioned, I feel like right now, 2019, we're in a time period where people like that matte finish, but they really appreciate when it's a natural skin-like matte finish because they don't want to look like they're wearing full-blown masks. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, I used to love packing that ish on. Like, I would pack on so much foundation and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But I feel like with the development of my rosacea, I definitely am more hesitant to pack and pack and pack. I feel like if I need it, okay, you can build it, but if you don't need it, you're just packing, what's the point? You're just gonna clog up your skin. So that's why I'm very, very like on top of how much product I use. But like, can we just take a second? This looks really good. Okay, I definitely have to say right now, just looking at it straight on, I feel like this side I got more of a fuller coverage look than with the side where I went with the sponge. I feel like with the side where I went in with the sponge, it looks a little tiny bit more like natural skin. So if you want it to look more like your skin and still kind of like see it through a little tiny bit, I feel like you'll really enjoy it with the sponge. If you want it to be like, okay, she is wearing a beat face of makeup, but not like, oh, it's cakey. Just like a beat face and full coverage, this is the side. Now, that's not me saying that this foundation isn't full coverage on this side, because it definitely is. It's definitely a full coverage foundation. But if you're somebody that wants that more perfected, like airbrushed foundation look, then you will probably want to apply it with your brush. Now, when I touch it with my finger and I kind of blend it out, it just has this really nice consistency where it's very smooth, almost like a satin feel. And I feel like that has always been one of my favorites, when it just kind of blends very seamlessly into the skin, almost like a moisturizer. Do I think I'm gonna remain completely oil-free the entire day? No, but I feel like for a good part of the day, I should be good to go. And I can always go ahead and set it a little bit. What I like to do is when I do go ahead and bake my under eyes, whatever powder's left over, I kind of just apply in the areas where I tend to get a little tiny bit oily. And then it kind of helps absorb any of those oils and kind of make it look a little bit more matte and in place. So this is what the foundation looks like on both sides. I'm very impressed. It looks so good just looking at it in front of the mirror. I feel like it looks like my skin, but it looks like perfected skin. I also feel like the primers helped it like lock into place really good. You guys know how I feel about my primers. Primers make such a difference. If you have the right primers, I'm telling you, your foundation will look 10 times better than without any primer. It's not clinging onto any of my textures. As I'm looking at it, it just looks very good and very natural. I also feel like this color is perfect. Like I mentioned, the color that I'm using right now is 37N. I do feel like it takes a little bit to set because I'm starting to see the set more and more. And we already finished this, and it's probably been, what, about like 5 to 10 minutes since we apply this. So it definitely takes a while to set because it's kind of more like a wet consistency. So that's just something to note. Don't think, oh my God, I need to work fast with it because it's gonna set super fast. It's not one of those foundations. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back and give you guys some more thoughts on this foundation. If I find any other information on their website about this, then I will let you guys know what is happening to my voice. And then we can go ahead and see if this new Tarte Face Tape Foundation is worth the buy or not. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so I am back. Currently it is 9:57 a.m. and I just finished off my entire face of makeup, and I want to share with you guys my thoughts thus far on the foundation and how it's doing my products. I want to say I'm really impressed with how it's doing. I went ahead and applied my blush, I did concealer, I baked, and everything went on so nicely. Especially when I was applying my blush, I just liked how it laid so beautifully on top of the foundation. It almost became one with the foundation, which I love. I hate when products look like they're layered on top and they just look super cakey. This is not doing that whatsoever. But you can see right here, it looks like the foundation is one with the blush and with the skin, and that's something that I am just always here for. So I really appreciate that aspect of this. I also love how I put a little bit of highlight on the high points of my cheeks, and you can see that it lays so beautifully on top of the skin. Now, I did go ahead and bake, like I mentioned, and I did use the leftover powder in the areas where I felt look a little tiny bit too radiant for my liking. So it was pretty much like my smile lines and then this forehead area right there, and then I was like, that's enough. So I didn't go ahead and use any other setting powder to set the face or anything. I just went in with whatever's left over of my baking powder to complete the look. Now I do have to say, I feel like the foundation feels so good and looks so good on the skin. Definitely now that it has set, I'm seeing that more matte finish that this claims to be. I feel like at first I was like, it's looking a little too radiant. I don't know why they're saying matte. I mean, I can see like a very soft matte, but I think once you give it a good like 25 minutes to really set and sink into your skin, now I'm getting that soft, natural skin-like matte finish that they had claimed. So I went back and looked at some of the claims on the website because I wanted to know a little bit more. This foundation does come in 50 shades. I know originally at the beginning of the video I mentioned that they expanded their shade range by a lot. 50 shades, great. They're competing with a lot of the big high-end brands, so that's definitely a plus. And they have 5 undertones, which I think is excellent. If you are considering checking out this foundation, I would go to your local Ulta because there's so many shades to choose from on the website that you may be like, oh my god, I don't know which one to choose. So it's better to kind of like swatch on the back of your hand, also see them in person, because sometimes the swatches online can be a little bit misleading. So I'm really happy that as soon as it launched online, it also launched in store, so I was able to pick it up. Now it says here, something that I didn't see on the packaging of the box, is that it is a transfer-proof, waterproof, and sweat-proof foundation. That sounds very, very convincing. We'll have to check that out. I don't think I'm gonna work out with this, but I'll definitely see how it does with all those things. It has snow mushroom extracts, apple fruit extract, and hyaluronic acid, hydrates and brightens the skin. I think that's where the scent is coming from. I did let you guys know that it did have a subtle scent, probably from the apple fruit and the snow mushroom, but I mainly got like a fruity scent, so probably the apple fruit. So the ingredients, like I mentioned, snow mushroom is rich and helps hydrate and brighten the skin. The apple fruit extract is rich in antioxidants to help protect the skin from free radicals, and the hyaluronics delivers the moisture, the firmness, and the suppleness. So those are the 3 main ingredients in here that are gonna really benefit your skin. I forgot to mention the most important part. This foundation does retail for $39, and let's see how much product it has. Does it tell me right here? It has 1.01 ounces, so a little tiny bit more than standard size, a little tiny bit. And I just feel like this may be a good situation. So I'm really excited. I will definitely give you guys some check-ins. So if you guys want to see how this foundation works through the day and my final thoughts at the end of the day, then please go ahead and continue watching, because you won't want to miss this worth the buy or not on this very, very highly talked about Tarte Face Tape Foundation. Okay guys, so right now it is 4:15 p.m. and I just wanted to give you guys a quick check-in of my makeup. Right now I'm getting really oily is right here, but there is some oil peeking through on my smile lines and like this area. But I definitely am seeing some dewiness, so I just wanted you guys to see that, especially with this nice natural lighting that we have in here, so you guys can kind of see what this foundation is looking like through the day. Now when we first applied it, it looked very, very beautiful, and you guys saw like it also in lighting, but now it definitely has a little bit of radiance. It's nothing too crazy, but we do have some oil peeking through, so you can either blot it at this point or you can just leave it and not F with it. But it looks very nice, so I definitely do like that about it. So I'll be seeing you guys at the very end of the day to give you guys my final thoughts on this foundation, and we can go ahead and decide if this is worth the buy or not. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so I am officially back. It is the very end of the day. Well, it's the end for my long day. Right now it is 7:23 p.m. and I'm going to get ready to take this makeup off so I can head over to the gym. But I wanted to give you guys my last check-in. You guys saw me in natural lighting. You guys saw how it looked through the hours. And now I'm ready to give you guys my final thoughts on the Face Tape Foundation. So as you can see, I'm looking pretty dewy in the areas where I typically get dewy. So what I'm gonna do right now, just so you guys can see how this foundation like works when you do blot it, I'm gonna go ahead and blot it. As you can see, we are oily. So if you are somebody that has very oily skin, this is something you may wanna consider. You will be oily through the day. And I'm just gonna go ahead and blot with my sponge just to see if it's going to kind of remove the product. Okay, so it's not removing the product. You can see the difference once you blot. Product's still in place, didn't budge, but now it looks much more set and not so oily. I'm gonna go down here, also around my smile lines and my nose, up here. Take my nose a little bit just so I can get that shine off. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like once you go ahead and kind of blot those oils away. As you can see, it still looks very beautiful. I have to admit, none of the product came off. The product is still perfectly intact, and I'm definitely a fan of that. I'm gonna get these little oils right here. But I like to show you this because some people do like to go ahead and just blot their foundation if they do notice the oils. I tend to do that, but I'm not like constantly looking at myself because I have a busy day during the day. So I'm not constantly looking at myself like, oh my God, let me blot, blot, blot. But it's good to know that when you do blot, you don't have to worry about that product coming off immediately. With some foundations, as soon as you go ahead and blot, it comes off and it's like, okay, this is pointless because I'm gonna have to walk around with this foundation looking like this, or I'm gonna have to retouch the foundation, which nobody really does like to retouch their foundation through the day. Especially if they have like a long work day, a long school day, that's the last thing you wanna go ahead and do. So I brought you guys in a lot closer. You guys can see how good the skin looks. Definitely once you blot, looks very, very nice. I would definitely say that this is going to be a matte foundation for somebody that has combination skin. If you have combination skin, you will probably really enjoy this. Also, if you have normal skin and you're looking for a matte finish, but nothing that looks too crazy matte, but you just like that more matte finish, you will really enjoy this because not only does it definitely give you a soft matte finish, but it also gives you such a beautiful radiance. And I think it's because it has that hyaluronic acid and the mushroom extracts. It allows you to have that really good hydration in your skin where it's not just matte and drying. It's not like that whatsoever. The consistency is so smooth and so nice and skin-like that I feel like even at this hour, which it's now 7 p.m., it still looks very beautiful. So if you do suffer from very oily skin, this is something you can think about. Do you think it's worth your coins? I would suggest maybe using a mattifying spray to keep it matte for a little bit longer, or also going ahead and baking the areas where you want it to stay nice and matte. Like for example, with me, I would probably go ahead and have to bake my smile lines and my T-zone area to really get it to stay that nice matte way for a little bit longer. The reason I didn't do that here is because I just kind of wanted to see how the product would react. But now that I know that it will get oily, I may consider doing that in the future. But I do have to say that for somebody who is oily but went ahead and blotted with my sponge, I was pleased to see that even with blotting, the foundation is still perfectly in place. So I would have to say, for me, I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. I think they did a really great job at really going back to the drawing board and figuring out what they had to do to produce a foundation that would make a big, strong comeback for the lack of shades and the disaster they had last year with the Shape Tape foundation. So I think this was a great comeback for them, and I really applaud them for that. I applaud them for making 50 shades with 5 different undertones. I applaud them for making a product that had great ingredients in this. I do have to say, Tarte does a great job of including some great ingredients in a lot of their products. Especially nowadays, people are very invested in knowing the ingredients and knowing what they're putting on their skin. And I think it's good that you can always count on a brand to do those things. So I definitely like that aspect of it. I don't think that this is worth necessarily $39. I feel like that's kind of where I'm kind of like, okay, an 8.5 instead of like a 9 or a 10 out of 10, because I feel like there's so many foundations at the drugstore that do such a good job of really making sure that your skin stays matte for way longer than this did, at least on me, a very oily skin girl. Now this does have fragrance, a little tiny bit of fragrance because of the ingredients in this. And I have to say, for me who has very sensitive skin, it didn't affect my skin. It didn't make it get irritated or anything like that. So that's just something to note, because I know I did mention that, and I prefer foundations not to have any type of fragrance in them, but this one did have a little tiny bit of a scent. So that's why I want to let you guys know. So yeah, I would have to say that it really just depends on your preference, and that can determine whether it's worth it to you or not. I have to say, I actually really like this, and I feel like because it feels and looks so good on the skin, I can still kind of be okay with the fact that it does get a little dewy. I'm just gonna go back and have to do some little things to make sure that it doesn't get as oily as it was looking right now. But it was a very pretty finish, and I definitely see the improvement from what they had last year to what they did this year. So I applaud Tarte for that, and I think that they're moving in the right direction, and I give them props for, you know, handling the situation the way that it needed to be, instead of not doing anything and just, you know, letting that Shape Tape define what they had going on. So those are all my final thoughts. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy watching it. Also, please don't forget to go ahead and comment down below what your thoughts are on this new Face Tape foundation, whether you'll be purchasing it or not. If you have purchased it and you tried it out, what do you think of it? I want to know all the hot tea. So go ahead and let me know down below. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I would love for you to become a member of family here on YouTube because I wouldn't want you guys to miss my fun videos for the world. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video on my channel because I would not want you guys to miss the good stuff that comes on here. So I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye guys.